The Michigan and Wisconsin basketball teams got into a little scuffle, a little tussle, and it was all fueled not by Juwan Howard, but by the Wisconsin head coach, Greg Gard. I'm going to talk about it right after the bumper. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr here with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, Wisconsin and Michigan, Juwan Howard, Greg Gard. It was a little tussle, a little scuffle that took place between the Wisconsin basketball team and Michigan basketball team. And a lot of people are putting the blame on Juwan Howard. And Juwan Howard may have overreacted. I'm not going to act like he didn't. And I'm going to show the video and we're going to talk about it. But I'm going to explain it. And then we're going to watch the video. And then I want to hear from you guys in the comments because, as you know, I respond to all the comments about what you think about what took place in the little scuffle between Wisconsin and Michigan basketball team. So Wisconsin had a nice win over Michigan. They had called a couple of timeouts. They were up like 15 or 16 with like a couple of minutes left in the game, or maybe under a minute left in the game. And their coach kept calling these timeouts. And obviously, Juwan Howard, he wasn't feeling that. Juwan Howard is a real dude. He played basketball for a long time, played both Division I and the NBA for over 15 years. He ain't with all of that showboating. Like, you know, you were up 15, 16 points with under a minute left. There's no reason for you to be calling these excessive timeouts. And, you know, Wisconsin head coach Greg Gard tried to give a reasoning for it, but it ain't no real reasoning. And so they're in the handshake line because, you know, in college, you still have to do a stupid handshake line. Only in college basketball, by the way. Not in football, not nothing. I mean, the coaches shake hands in football, but nobody else does a handshake line in the middle of at the end of the benches or whatever. And so in the handshake line, Juwan Howard let him know. He's like, yo, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that bleep, and didn't want to shake bro's hand. Greg Gard's hand, that is. Greg Gard puts his hands on Juwan and stops him and tries to explain or whatever. He's like, no, I don't need no explanation. Get your hands up off me. And that's where the melee takes place. So let me, since I kind of set the table for you, let me go ahead and play the video. This is a raw cut video from WKOW. WKOW, this is their video. So I want to make sure I give them the credit because this is the raw, uncut video. This is fair use, and some of this language may not be suitable for work. So let's take a look. This is the handshake line that I spoke about after Wisconsin got the win. Let's listen in. So as you see, Juwan's like, I remember that bleep. I remember that bleep. Gard puts his hand on Juwan. And he's like, don't effing touch me. Don't effing touch me. And then that's when the melee ensues. Boom. Okay, and that is the infamous swipe. If you take a look right in this area, you see Juwan right there. They keep calling it a punch. It wasn't a punch. It was just a swipe. It was an infamous swipe. It was open hand. But the infamous swipe takes place. Watch Juwan Howard right here. And this assistant coach is the man that's gonna get the Juwan Howard probably has like 12-inch hands, and he's gonna catch the bare brunt of this man's big old hands. Juwan Howard is 6'10" man, by the way. Wow. And there goes the swipe, and the melee ensues because of the swipe. See the players, some punches were thrown by players. Look at number 0. He gets packed out over on the right. Bunch of hoopla, whoop, whoop, whoop. So I'm here today to say Juwan Howard overreacted. Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. That's just the God honest truth. But Juwan Howard isn't the sole reason why this melee took place. Juwan Howard isn't the reason why this melee took place at all. Greg Gard, the head coach of Wisconsin, if he never puts his hands on Juwan Howard, none of this ever happens. So Juwan Howard is going to get the most severe penalty because he was the one that overreacted. He is the one that actually open hand smacked this assistant coach for Wisconsin. I forgot the man's name. It's something too hard to pronounce for me anyway. And so he's going to get the most severe penalty. And people were calling for his job. And I'm like, to hell with that. Like, ain't no calling for his job. No, it should not be calling for his job. But he will get a 4, maybe 5 game suspension. But we cannot lose the fact that Greg Gard should also be suspended for a game, if not 2. Because if he never puts his hands, see, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. We don't, like, in the black community, can we keep it 100? Can we keep it a bean? We don't put our hands on people and expect no kind of reaction. If somebody says, which the thing is, Juwan, all he said was, I'm going to remember that. Yes, I'm going to remember that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to remember that. That's all he said. He didn't say F you. He didn't say go to hell. He didn't say anything. All he said was, I'm going to remember that, and didn't shake the man's hand. If that man don't want to shake your hand, you can't force him to listen to your explanation. You can say, hey, Juwan, or whatever. You don't grab another grown man. You don't grab another grown man. If I was, did something slick or whatever, calling timeouts when I'm up 15, 16 points at the end of the game, and somebody says I'm going to remember that, I'm going to just be like, all right, bet. I'm going to remember it too. We might have exchanged words. Hell, you think I'm going to grab this man? You think I'm going to grab this man? First of all, you're Greg Gard. You grabbing Juwan Howard. If he's open hand smacks you, you're going to catch the bare brunt of it. You just lucky whatever your assistant coach said was more disrespectful because Juwan clearly had something like on Buddy. I don't know what it was about Buddy's face. Sometimes people say, oh, that looks like a punchable face. Buddy must have had a punchable face, or he said something real slick that Juwan came through with the hand of God and laid something on him. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, and I heard Colin Cowherd talk about this a little bit too. This was interesting. Like, the problem is when you're a coach. You preach to your players not to act like this. You preach to your players to have self-control, whether it's in the game situation against another player or whatever. You preach all of this stuff, and then you go out and act a monkey. You go out and act the fool. If you're Greg Gard, you go out and grab this man, Juwan Howard. What the hell you grabbing him for? What are you grabbing him for, dude? So my issue is I think Greg Gard is the biggest villain in all of this. Everybody going to make it seem like Juwan Howard. Greg Gard is the biggest villain because if he never touches Juwan, this never happens. None of this ever happens. But it all started when he decided to put his hands on another grown man. Because when you do that, every action has a reaction. Every action has a reaction. When you do something to me, you can't tell me how to react. When you say something to me, you can't tell me how to react. And when you put your hands on me, you can't tell me how to react. You just can't. You can't. That's always been a motto, a theme of mine, and that's how I feel about it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Obviously, I know, like I said, I know Juwan Howard overreacted, but Greg Gard played a big role into what took place there. I hope Juwan Howard doesn't lose his job. I don't think he will, but you never know. When you open hit now, if he would have hit a player, he'd have lost his job. He hit another grown man, though. He hit a coach. He hit another coach. I think it's going to cause for a suspension, some kind of reprimand, or whatever. But I don't think he'll lose his job. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYJr with the Black Boss channel and Victory Formation. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JLightsy7. That is on Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Peace.